Well, good evening, Star Wars fans. It's myself and Mr. Justin Desai coming to you live for another edition of Holotheatre. This week we are welcomed by esteemed KTOD member and guy who's coming back, Mike Gemme. How's it feel to be coming back to Star Wars, Mike?
Mike Gemme.
It it doesn't feel great. It's okay. I don't know. It's not the first return. I actually wanted to mention this at some point because when we've done this before, but when I moved back home from New Orleans, I was going through this bad breakup, and I was like, Justin, I want to start playing Star Wars CCG again, and he said, "You're crazy." He said, "You're nuts," and I kind of pushed it, and we went down to the NPC. I think was our first.
We wanted
big
to
event.
register with fake names, and they wouldn't let us. Remember?
Yeah, and so we went back, and we just started doing well out the gate, and he thought I was nuts, and I lasted 3 years, and he's been playing 13. So yeah, so you know. I did 3 years, and I did some commentary, and then I kind of like bounced back and forth. But I really stopped playing 2010, 2011.
Yeah, I guess you haven't really done too much. You did a couple NPCs, just what Steve was doing.
Yeah, I mean, I came back. It's like played an event. You know, nothing. Nothing crazy. Didn't do well.
That is crazy. You haven't played a Worlds in like 10 years, though.
Jeez, wow.
Yeah, I haven't played a Worlds. Yeah, probably. I didn't want to. Like, there was the one in Boston, and I felt pretty good about my last World finish being a top 4 finish. That I didn't really want to. Like, I was fine coming back and dabbling in NPCs, but I didn't want to go to a Worlds that I wasn't prepared for. And I still wanted my last World Championship to be a top 4 finish.
Yeah,
and I was knocked out by Justin.
The profit year.
Yeah, so it's a good memory.
I'm guessing Justin won that year?
No, that was Hunter won.
No, he lost to Hunter.
Yeah.
Watto.
I didn't. Yeah.
Freaking Watto.
Yeah. It's bad. That
funny. I remember more about the 2010 World Championship than literally the last 10 years of my life.
Yeah.
That was
like event. Recall every minute of that weekend. Hunter sleeping on the floor, under the table.
So I know I talked about it at one point, saying that Hunter, Reed, and I went to Origins one year. Is it just a thing where Hunter sleeps at the event, or
was that 2003?
Yeah, it was 2003.
Yeah, because Mike played Hunter there, and twice actually, and I played Reed. I did win that tournament, but and that was the grudge match that we talked about last week.
Yeah,
that was Hunter going to like Walmart and buying like a black tie, black pants, black shirt, no belt.
That's right.
And like walked into the grudge match
never a belt.
And was like kept Hayes waiting 10 minutes and then just like, you know, kind of won the grudge.
Man, how do we not have that on film? What an epic.
Because I wasn't in charge of marketing back then.
I know. That was
2003.
Yeah.
Cell phones didn't have cameras, you know?
Yeah.
They didn't have video cameras.
The prize for that event was like $500, or maybe it was $1,000. I forget, but it was also like 3 boxes of Coruscant. And we were like, yeah, whatever. Like 3 boxes. That's kind of heavy.
The price spike is so crazy. I don't know if you remember, Justin, a few years ago. Probably it was in my 2 family. So I think it was probably like I bought a Reflection 3 box for $350 just to crack it, and they were like, "You're crazy spending $350 on that." And I cracked the whole thing, and now it's worth like $3,500.
Yeah.
But no, I definitely just got drunk, put on my sunglasses at like 3 a.m, and opened all the packs.
Yep. Got some good pulls.
Yeah, I got like a complete set of shields.
Oh well. I mean, that's not too bad, but I mean, I think you'd rather have the sealed box at this point.
Yeah, if you didn't open it,
unless you want to buy the shields for $3,500, Dan.
You know what? I gotta go through. I gotta get more stuff off of B. Fred. Like he's my dealer now. So
he's everybody's dealer.
Yeah, like there's that sealed. I got a sealed box of special edition from him, sitting right there.
Nice.
Yeah, that's
pretty sweet. Man.
Probably not going to crack that unless the PC wants to buy it off me and use it as prize support.
Cracking sealed stuff.
I remember my first box of special edition. Looks like you also have a box of Death Star 2 starters over there.
Yeah. No, those are just the 2 light side and the 1 dark side. I got those off Tom Hade. Yeah.
Also a pretty popular dealer.
Yeah, that's the one thing about Corona times. I got nothing else to spend my money on, so I'm going a little crazy with Cardboard
eBay. I
Crack.
definitely looked at eBay a little bit and been like, oh, that's cool.
Yeah. I don't know which is worse, my Star Wars addiction or my Magic addiction. So,
Magic, huh?
you know, oh yeah, yeah.
So we got a good show tonight, guys.
do.
We got Mike Gemme in the house. We're gonna
I swear we do.
It's coming soon. We're gonna talk about his return to Star Wars CCG, what that means for the game. Mike's in his loft right now with in his man cave. We're gonna talk about some meta stuff. He's got a cool deck building challenge. We of course got Swing and a Miss. And Dan's gonna get it going for us.
Yep.
And I will, as always, I'm gonna interact with the chat on Twitch, guys. I'm not gonna be in Slack, so if you're in Slack, ask your questions on Twitch.
Yes.
Over there now.
So Mike.
Yes.
You as you alluded to, this is your second time coming back. So why come back now in 2020?
It's kind of a perfect storm of things. My main game, Star Wars Destiny, got canceled a couple months ago. Sort of like the writing was on the wall there, and I was already starting to wind down. But once that got officially canceled, I just didn't have anything to do. And then so I've been playing X-Wing the miniatures game, and that has sort of with coronavirus just kind of disappeared. I was playing Legends of Runeterra, which is the League of Legends card game. And I was doing really well with that. I was in the beta, and I made Masters a couple times. It's like their equivalent of Legendary for Hearthstone, but it's just kind of boring. Sorry about that.
Oh, you're good.
And I just kind of got really sick of it. And, Justin and Steve are always in our group chat talking about Star Wars CCG, and then when they disappear for like 4 days, I'm like, oh man, they're just texting each other about Star Wars CCG. They're not even including me in these texts. So I was like, well, I might as well start like thinking about maybe playing some Star Wars CCG so I can at least be involved in all the conversations.
Well, like I know a couple of years ago you played in the OCS. You actually made it to the top 2, and you played against you played against Justin and lost to Justin. So was that like a preview of you coming back, or was that something where you just felt like reminiscing about the old days?
No, that was kind of another weird perfect storm where like they were talking a lot about it. Chew was still playing a lot, and I feel like you guys were maybe getting ready for Worlds in the fall. And so I was helping them play test, and I was thinking, because the fall and winter was like a complete dead time for Destiny. So I was getting games versus those guys. Like me and Chew would just like play Holotheatre, like grind the games on Holotheatre because we preferred it. And then so I had just been playing a lot and absolutely nothing to do in the winter doldrums for Destiny. And like I was a content creator for Destiny, so I was playing Destiny sort of like as a second job. Like my website was doing really well. We were making like over $3,000 a month just on Patreon. It was like going really, really well. But it definitely felt like a job, and I wasn't having any fun. So playing with Justin, Steve, and Chew and getting them ready sort of like had my feet wet. But I wasn't actually playing other than to like let me get competitive games in the OCS for them with their decks, and then. Right. Obviously was able to like miraculously qualify 1 month and then did really well just by like, we're going to talk about this soon, I'm sure, but playing with a good team is like part of the reasons why I love gaming.
Yeah, we all qualified.
Really like the solo aspect of it.
We all qualified that year. Like Chew was in it, and we definitely like approached the top 16 of that with like, let's just like play different decks and like have fun with it. Like, Mike played the EBO and like played Chew's Dark Deal. Chew played at Worlds, and like we
that's what I mean. It was just really
deck, and like we just got out of our comfort zone.
Oh yeah, that's right. You did play that.
Like the finals was
it was fun. We were just testing stuff.
Yeah, because
it wasn't. Chew played Throne Room and like was like the one deck that we played that was normal and lost to Silverglass, and I was like, round 1 I picked Tom, and I was like, I know Tom like Gem Tom. Yeah, I was like, I know Tom's gonna play like that, like activation deck or like hunt down. So I played like Y40 with like 4 transmission terminated, the systems that matched like where he was gonna be with like multiple hits. Like I played the Bespin system, but like didn't play Narshada in my space deck. Wow. We just had fun like brewing. You know what I mean?
Nice.
Like obviously worked out. maxed out.
I will say the one thing again that stuck out for me that year was what was it like 60-4 in a battle with you and your EBO versus Joe Olson, and he was just
Yeah,
like,
you
you know
never
what, I
deployed
can't
a
do
hate.
it. Yeah.
I think I had 68 power or 72 power if memory serves. I remember I played something that like draw. I think I played something that draws the bottom card of my use pile or maybe my force
Mm-hmm.
pile, and it was like wedge in red 3, and I was like, oh, and another one, and it was just so it was just so insane. That was like turn 2 or turn 3.
Mike, there's a chat question. I'm going to read it. It says,
Sure.
This is from Drew. Justin and Mike, do you approach deck building and selection different when a tournament is differential instead of strength of schedule, like the upcoming mini worlds? So basically, match play.
Yeah, we
versus
used to.
like, we used to. It's a little tricky because you haven't really played like a strength of schedule tournament really much at all, which is kind of weird
I
to
don't
think.
think
I mean,
I
you played
have.
in Star Wars, you played in other games, obviously, but like it doesn't because it's actually funny. 2010 was differential, had to be.
Yeah, I don't. It was differential. I don't think it was strength of schedule. It might have been one of the last ones, because I remember like the discussion. Yeah, I mean,
Right.
absolutely, we would specifically try and find decks that we thought could win by 18. Like I remember 18 being like
true.
a crazy magic number. Like so many of our games ended on 18. So we're like, we really wanted to find decks that would win by. We wanted to have one deck that would win by more than 15. And then into that 18 to 21 range, and then one deck that was just going to win by 8 to 10. That's
Right.
why I played a lot of Watch Your Step, and it was like, all right, I can win. I can usually grind out a game and win between 4 and 10 cards, and I wanted to have a dark that would win by 15 to 18. That's why you found us gravitating to things like combat back in those days, because combat started like 6 cards, 5 cards, like you just didn't have anything on the table.
Yeah, you didn't need to win any match.
That's why we ended up gravitating away from Hunt Down, because it not only did it whittle you down so much, but you also had to I think in like 0304 we're playing Hunt Downs. We needed like 10 effects on table, and it just got to be like we couldn't win a game, and it just that's when I got off Hunt Down, when I was like, I got to play 14 effects in my Hunt Down. This just can't be right. So absolutely, we used to approach it much differently.
We also approached I think when we first started getting good, that stretch was like we tried to quantify a lot of things, just period. Like we're famous for the number, and like most people have cracked what the number is by now, but like why the number is. And then in Worlds 2007, it was one of the cooler
the Senate
moments,
formula,
where we had an auto loss where Light Senate, according to like Tom Kelly and pretty much everyone, was like would beat Dark Senate. But then me and Mike had figured out like an algorithm that related to the number of senators in your hand and the amount of force you needed to save in the first 3 turns of the game. And like, I remember telling Mike's not a math guy, but like I was like, listen, this is the way
I'm good at algebra.
You have 3 senators
and
this amount of force, and like you can like
f of x is Tumbuktura.
Right, like you save if you have 3 senators, you save this much. You have 4 senators, you save this much. If you have 2 senators, you save this much. And we just wrote it out, and you knew exactly what to do. And if you did that, you won like every single time. Like you won like 90%.
If you had porn free ta, you like got to increase it by 1 because you only cost 1. It was like we basically just had all of the ways we had to save
all
force.
The ways.
And as long as we followed that formula on 2, 3 on turns 1, 2, and 3, then we won, and we did.
Because it's like they can't battle, because if they battle, you lose 2 guys and you still have 3 left. They lose a guy. It was like an all related to like the 2-turn battle rotation of like wiping them completely off, and then like it ended up being that the end of all of the fray, they would have to like move their remaining senator to like the JCC, because they literally had, and like if, everyone knows if you win the Senate in the Senate mirror, like the game's over.
Yeah, because you're the first person that gets to like go do something else. And then just to like wrap up Drew's question, now with the strength of schedule, I think this is why you see decks like ISB really being like really, really strong, because like you're only racing against time at that point, or even like that lock deck you played. You know what I mean? Like that could that's an online special. These decks you could only play online. Like maybe the ISP could go in a real tournament, but like I mean, you just got to win the time game, right? For strength of schedule.
It shifted a little bit. It feels like it used to be like you want like these high destiny, like do very little decks to get high differential. like combat, and now it's shifted to like set up a control deck with like menace fades or like some type of retrieval, and like just sort of like stack here, stack there, go wide, and like you'll probably, like Mike was saying, you'll probably win by like 18, and you definitely won't lose by like. But like if you look at like a deck like Huntdown, you put Vader out, it's like the only thing that's happening. But like then they go to a system, and you're like, oh, that sucks. That's going to be 10 differential over the course of this game, win or lose, that I'm just never going to touch. Or like, what happens if like Watch Step goes Kessel turn 1, or like, Diplo has like the Tana bit of system. You're never going to touch that, so you're just going to be losing for that the entire game. And now that like everyone plays Gick and stuff, you can't really like get the beat down to like get the huge victory early, unless you're playing EBO versus ISP.
Or I was thinking about that also, Worlds 2010, when Aaron Nelson started the Gick effect against me in the top 8.
Lord. Yeah, and we were playing like Profit Beats.
We still beat him down.
You still beat him down. We're like 12 after he wasted his Gick effect. And that was the 2 Probot year. We were like 2 Probots. Right. Oh my god.
What?
That guy never had a chance. All right. So Mike's back. He's thinking about his return. So what have you been doing, Mike, with games in the last? So you had your first initial break, and then we all know we've been watching your career with Destiny, another Star Wars based game. But it was as we were preparing for the show.
Oh, so I discovered Destiny because I went to the 2016 MPC, and Chris and Brian Twig were playing Destiny, and I was like, "What's that game?" And I went home and Googled it. I started playing it, and I became one of the best Destiny players in the world.
Of all time.
Like that's how it started, because the Twigs were playing it at the MPC.
Can you just real quick give your accolades, your awards that you won, to your events that you won?
So I formed a team for Destiny, like a little 3-man squad, with one guy I knew from Magic, and then another guy, a local guy. And at the very first Gen Con, it was the North American Championship. I came in second, and my teammate came in first. So we went 1-2, and that's like when we That's when we blew up. And then we both made top 4 at Worlds. We both lost in our semifinal matches. And like if we were on the opposite sides of the brackets, we had auto wins, and we would have not played the final and just like gotten on the plane. So I top 4'd the first World Championship, and they give away playmats. I have all my playmats back there on my gaming table. And then I top 8'd the following Gen Con, which is another North American Championship. And then I won Gen Con this past year, and this is like the little wooden die they gave me for that. I won with Ewoks, an Ewok spam deck, which was pretty sweet.
And then I top the map, right? No one knew about that.
Yeah,
deck?
everyone thought it was a complete junk deck. Like it wasn't real. And when we showed up with Ewoks, everyone sort of like record scratched and were like, "Wait, are you guys really playing Ewoks?" And we went there with and we did that the year before too, when I top 8'd. And my teammate won. We won all 3 Destiny Gen Cons. We went with Mill, which is discarding cards from the top of the deck, winning Star Wars CCG style, which is not how most games are played. And we crushed that event with everyone playing Mill, and then we did the same thing with the Ewoks this past year. And then
we were not going to play Mill, and Steve and I were like, just play it, even though we don't know the game. We were like, I was afraid because different.
If you go to time and Mill, you're trying to Mill, you automatically lose in Destiny. So it was like scary, because if the game didn't go fast, like I kept a timer in my pocket that went off at 20 minutes just in case I thought things were going slow. Okay. And then I only made top 32 of the final World Championships. It's actually the first major event that I didn't top 8. So I had like a really good run between Nationals, North American Championships, and Worlds, where I top 8'd every single one but one.
Wow.
Yeah, so you were pretty much dominant in like the really sense of the word, like where you're winning this event, you're winning this event. There really wasn't really anybody in your standing.
Yeah, and what was cool was that my
whole
team was doing that well. Like maybe not some of the higher places, but my closest teammates were doing that as well. So it was like we had a team. There were other good teams, but we had a team. We thought we were the best team, if not, we thought we were the best team. Likely, it's obviously arguable, but we all just had a lot of success, and it's the same reason why I think I've had success. Justin and I have talked about this, behind the scenes. Like we only started getting good when we started playing with each other and started taking it seriously. Like when we first started playing with each other, we were pretty marginal, and then we grinded enough games on the floors of our bedrooms that we actually got good.
Yeah, took it seriously. As you can see from the recent tournament reports that have came out, that we maybe didn't always take it seriously. In like 1997, we were playing like
Definitely
Rancor
not.
decks, and mine would you have learned speeders and stuff like that.
You know what? There's
So
really nothing wrong with those types of decks if you want to play for fun.
they could still be competitive.
Who knows?
Other
I
Rancor.
mean, I got beat up by a Sarlacc deck the other day on Gemme, so
Okay.
things are real.
So Destiny GOAT conversation and team one of the best. 3-time Worlds finalist, 2-time Worlds team tournament champion. Nationals
So we're
champion.
CCG.
Yep. Nationals champion.
Nationals champion.
That was 2002. KTOD's first big win.
Fire extinguisher, combat.
Yep. Been part of a couple really dominant sweeping worlds, like putting everyone into the top 8, like 22-1 record with profit type vibes. 2003, we put everyone in the top 8 with 8 different decks. 2010, we had the dominant profit year. 2007, the year Chu won. Both years that Chu won, you top 8'd. That's interesting. I haven't really thought of that before.
Yeah, that's funny. I guess Chu. I mean, Chu and I work together well, and I'll
you gotta think of the game.
I played Watcher Step Spies. I think the reason why I did well in 07 was because I had one of the only light decks that went 3-1. I think. It was a real bad year for light. It was a real bad year for light, and I was able to go 3-1 with Watcher Step Spies, which was a true creation.
So, the Star Wars games we were great at, but I think a lot of people have heard your name, especially as the game's pushed on to 2020. And I remember a couple of years actually ago, I think it was Worlds 2000, wherever the Minnesota one was, the recent Minnesota one was. A couple of the guys were like, "Oh yeah, we grew up reading about you guys," and it kind of felt kind of cool to be viewed as in that sense. But a lot of people don't know that you played a lot of other games. So we stopped playing in 2003. We jumped into Versus system, played that professionally for 3 years. Mike's played Magic.
We played Loader before that. We only played Versus because they canceled our Loader tournament, and we were like, we're never playing Loader again.
That's absolutely
Check out this other new game.
Mike drove in from Worcester, and we were going through a local at this place called the Complete Strategist, where this guy Paul Unstein was the boss, and he would just win every single week. And then all of a sudden, they were just this was before Facebook. We just called ahead. We're the tournament's still on, right? And Mike was driving in and goes, and I go, no, they canceled the tournament. And he's like, well, I'm gonna keep coming. And then stopped at a gas station or something and bought Versus starters. And then we got on that professionally. That was sweet. Give us some good Versus stories.
Did you guys start at the beginning for Versus, or was it a little bit into it?
Very first Pro Tour
we were there at the very first Pro Tour.
Nice.
Yep, Mike won a qualifier. I had a courtesy invite via
Steve
Star Wars, and Steve won a last chance qualifier. So we all
he won the only LCQ at Gen Con, which was crazy.
Wow.
Which is pretty crazy. So Mike is probably the most diversified in our professional gaming for our games. So he's played Star Wars, he's played Destiny, he's played Magic, he's designed a second place in a Pro Tour deck off of the Joel Larson
for Magic.
What deck was that?
Deck.
Back when
it was a Boros Reckoner.
Boros Reckoner and an island.
You could gain infinite life, and you could play Blasphemous Act to do 13 to all creatures, which meant you did 13 to their face. So it was a little bit of a burn deck. And so one of the cool things about Magic Online was all right, when they go to the Pro Tour, they're looking at the decks, the cards release online, the pros are already at the Pro Tour. So you're playing Magic Online, and if you win the daily event, you go 4-0, your deck is going to get noticed those few days when it's legal before they have to register their decks. Yeah. And I 4-0'd, or I think it was 4-0 back then. I 4-0'd with this deck on the very first one. And it was this is the new deck. These are the new decks, and this is one of them. But I had thrown it. I made mistakes, and the mana base was a little off. But the reason why I knew the guy net decked me because he had the island, which he never should have played, and he's as a good player, future Hall of Famer, should have known not to play that island. But he just copied it card for card.
So Mike's made his dent in many a game. Many a game has had.
Yeah, it's been fun. It's been a fun career. I really love these games.
So
he's
do you?
back with.
Here's a question. I mean, I noticed like you have like a pro headset. You got the chair and everything. Do you stream for other games, or is it
I did for Destiny.
okay?
But I just got this chair because it's really comfortable. But
Yeah,
I do have the sweet pro chair.
yeah.
But I mean I was making video content for Destiny for 3 years. Like I'm not
Hmm.
kidding. Every single day of my life.
That's amazing.
So yeah, it just all came with the territory. And because
Yeah.
the site made so much money, I'm able to do things like, make sure I have a good camera, make sure I have a good chair, things like that.
Good stuff.
And I thought about streaming Star Wars CCG. The games are just so long.
So long.
Yeah, it's not.
When
You have to have somebody. Okay, so I noticed you have to be a personable person to stream Star Wars CCG, and yeah, being that the games can last. Like I played a game last night for like 2 hours. It's not fun to sit there and stream
The games
for
are
2 hours.
the games are just
Yeah,
sloggy now.
I think the
Every
best
game is a
way.
grind.
Yeah, I'm not in love with the meta that we have right now, but I think the best way to do it is to actually like take your game, record it, and then talk over it, like at 1.5 speed,
Yeah.
and be able to skip to points in the stream. So I've thought a little bit about that. I'm sure we'll talk about it, but July is very much like get my feet wet, see what's going on, play some of my old decks, play Steven Justin's decks, and just try and get a feel for if I really want to play the Robbie event, which we can talk about
Yeah,
soon.
we're gonna talk about that. So
But I'm just trying to like get reacclimated. But so far, my games have all gone very long. They've all been down to like I have 9 cards left, you have 9 cards left. We're not battling. I'm just doing 1, you're retrieving 2, and it's been kind of a bummer.
the grind is real right now. So
The
I mean,
grind is tough.
right now, I mean, you said you're just coming back. Like just being July is your re-entrant month. What decks do you like? Are there any decks that stick out in particular? I mean, I know, especially with Justin and Steve, Legend is there, and there's other decks like No Idea.
Yeah, Legend looks
but...
really, really, really cool. So I got my first taste of No Idea today. I played against No Idea. I played against Werfs. It seems good. It's really strong. Like against ISB, he can just drop Saw turn 1 and just start draining. I mean, just start pinging. That seems like pretty oppressive. He was able to play a million guys that I couldn't swing at. He's retrieving 1 in space with Luke. It felt like he didn't have to do a lot to do a lot of damage. But I made some mistakes. I think if I played a little bit tighter at the beginning, and maybe I think I've been too cautious in a lot of my games, like afraid to battle, that it probably would have gone better. But I think it's probably a good matchup against ISB. Like I think it wants to see ISB, if I had to guess.
Yeah.
At least the kind of like spread and drain version.
So we actually, Drew just mentioned it in the chat again. He was actually saying that you mentioned it a little offhand that you don't like the meta. What don't you like about the meta? Is it just the fact that it's too slow, or is it
I mean, maybe it's just the games that I've played and the decks that I've been choosing, but right now it just feels really grindy. One of the things that I want to address is like, one of the things I'm not super happy with right now is also just like where I'm at personally, which is don't really have a good handle on things. My decks are outdated from 2 years ago. Justin and Steve's decks are obviously good, but I think they have a very different play style than me. And one of the things that makes games interesting to me is building my own decks and figuring out how to make other decks better. And I just don't have the knowledge of the cards and the knowledge of the meta to do that right now. So I'm not having the most fun I could have. But to have fun and succeed at these games isn't to pick up my friend's deck and win all my games on the first day. It's to practice and get better and understand. And so I just need to get over this hump of, okay, the game is really challenging. I need to do my work. I need to figure out what's good. I need to build decks for me. And I need to then use my friends to be like, what am I missing here? Rather than, all right, like, let's play a game, like play Legend against me and talk me through that game.
Okay, yeah, that's a good point.
I think it's pretty hard. I think it's pretty frustrating. Mike's been at the pinnacle of the game. I mean, he's won majors. He's top-rated worlds 3 times. He's been integral to our team, but he has stepped away. And the way the game is now, it's a little bit harder to just play Star Wars CCG like with a deck. You know what I mean? Like you have to learn sort of the muscle memory of matchups.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's necessarily there for him yet. And he certainly would pick that stuff up. But like, it's not fun to be like, okay, how does the Legend versus ISB matchup go? It's fun for me and Steve to talk about it because we like figured out exactly what we want to do in it after losing or winning a certain number of times. But for Mike just to sort of like slot into it and be like, oh yeah, they told me what to do. Let's see if I can like not screw it up. Is like not fun. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And, like,
and also like to me, not fun is like grinding 30 ISB games is also not
Right.
fun to me. So I don't want to do that either.
Yeah.
So it's just like a perfect storm of I wish the games were a little more swingy. I guess like sort of
Okay.
embrace variance there, and like where you could challenge. And then just my big hang up with Star Wars CCG, even from the get go, is it's a complicated game with a lot of text and a lot of text on the table at all times that you got to remember, and every game's different. It's not like Magic where it's like, oh, you got one creature. Like, all right, I know what that creature does.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, you got 30 cards on the table, and I gotta know what all these cards do. And that's just like, and that's why the game's really great, and that's why the game is really challenging, and that's why the 200 people who still play, or even more on Jeff now, still play it because they love that. And it's just, a lot of people don't play with all the virtual cards because that's several hundred more cards they have to learn.
Yeah.
And I know from a design standpoint, we were, not to get into too much detail, but we were looking at like a new objective that potentially come out in set 13. And the first like 9, I was talking to Chris Kelly today, just on email, and like the first 4 or 5 sentences in the objective were like, you can play this character with this in lore and sort of all this restrictive text. And I was sort of chatting with him, and I was like, listen, this is too much to sort of place on like a player like Mike, like a newer coming back to be like, oh man, like do I have to go back to like SWIP and look for all the characters I can even play? Like, can we, and then sort of like, hey, can we just kind of make this aliens or make this a little bit easier to digest?
Yeah, that's a good point.
And talking about it because if you remember like 2014, 15, Slavers was kind of like that. Like I won the Worlds that Slavers was like a good deck at, and I didn't know what Slavers did.
Yeah.
Like I was
and it wasn't worth your time to figure it out.
No, and I remember like I played because Slavers was winning everything, and me and Steve accidentally like that summer we did play test it and we figured out how to beat it, but I still didn't know how all the cards did because the effects pulled other effects, and the sites pulled effects, and the objective pulled effects, and the cards you could play were different, and like Bosk was like his text that he had was different than like the objective changed the game text. It was too much. You know what I mean? Versus like watching step is like, okay, smugglers. All right, cool, smugglers. Like
right, I can search that in Gem, but like even like WAP, it's like, episode 1 aliens, episode 1 Jedi, Republic characters. Like episode 1 ships. It's just like how many things do I have to search and like print out a list?
But sometimes the restrictions are odd and like just some odd stuff and like layering. Like even like Mike's saying, like no idea gets out the beach and it gets out saw and it starts hanging right away, and it's very like linear in that fashion. But if you don't know that's coming, you're kind of looking at that game and you're like, wait, like they got to play one of their best guys and some other guys, and they're going to like this drain 2 place, and the thing is 2, like that's just really really quick. What am I supposed to do there? And there's things that are really good against that, but like Mike hasn't come back. He doesn't know that, like, Vader is really good against that deck early. You know what I mean? But, like, Maul's maybe not as good because Maul used to be good, but Maul costs 9. Maybe he, you know what I mean? Like, actually.
Yeah, I mean, Maul's been good for 20 years, and they keep making cards that make him less good, to stand up to him, which makes sense because when Maul was oppressive, he was incredibly oppressive. The other thing that I think suffers Star Wars CCG is just, like, there's no rotation. We had that one big reset.
Yeah.
But now, there's no like give and take. You can't, and like, I think it would be cool to this is like not a territory that we need to go down, but like, I think it'd be really interesting to like rotate even just the shields, because like, all right, now for like 6 months, well, Huntdown's dead, but then 6 months later, no idea is dead. Do you know what I mean? You could just like mix that up.
Changing the shields because so many when the shields first came out, we were like, this thing's canceled, this thing's canceled, this thing's canceled. We were like Twitter basically canceled everything. But we were like, why don't we tweak things more? Like Goonie Taves there's a shield that cancels Goonie Tave, but why don't we just say like X is 1, like 2 on Goonie Tave 1?
Yeah.
So it wouldn't just like, straight out, and that would be like something that might slow something down, like a fast, like aggressive dark side deck. You know what I mean? Or like
I mean, we're playing with paper cutouts. We can really get a little bit more.
Right.
aggressive. Like even the paper cutout, what Reflections Gold was going to be rotating text.
Yeah.
You know, we didn't get that.
That's a great
and
idea.
it's crazy that the PC hasn't like considered. Maybe they have considered it, but they definitely haven't enacted it in 20 years of making virtual slips to rotate them.
You know what? I mean, I wholeheartedly
It's a lot
agree.
of work because if you remember,
is a
the
lot of
reset
work.
was a lot. The reset was.
Yeah.
I was around for that, and you know, and I designed a lot of cards that got reset, not just as personal player created cards, but I was on design development for a number of years. So
yeah,
it sort of happened a little bit with errata. Like ROPS and agents have been errated a bunch. Like
yeah, and that set 12 seems to like change a bunch of things, and that was cool. I think like maybe that's the start of it. And I'm not like complaining about Star Wars CCG. I still think it's great. It's just it's a large barrier for entry, and there can be a certain staleness to it when you look at this card. You're like, well, even like playing WAP or even playing No Idea, like Imperial Decree V is just really good. And
yeah, it is.
If a deck can start that and utilize it, then it hurts a lot of cards. And there's there's all these like Ray cards that bring them just like not work anymore, or so you just I would like to see it mix up once in a while. But that's all. That's one man's opinion.
And you know what? I mean, you come from somebody different card game background. You play in games that have a rotating card base.
Every other game has a rotation.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, even like Loader, right? They had like the blocks. Like we weren't playing the original Loader cards in the second one, were we?
I don't know how long we played, but we played mostly first block.
But there was like a second block. Cause like what was
there
like,
was
the
a second block.
Yeah, we played like Siege and stuff. You couldn't play like Urkai then. I don't think so.
I don't remember.
And Versus had new sets.
Mm-hmm.
All the and Magic obviously has rotation.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the closest comparison to Star Wars is Legacy Magic.
Yeah,
right.
Those games are the biggest similarities, where someone can literally buy one deck and play it. Like you can play Throne Room forever, you can play Delta forever, or whatever those.
But even that format has banned and restricted cards.
True.
Banned and restricted also has new cards that come out, and like the power creep has effect. I mean, it's like similar to us, like when Deathrite Shaman was around, like changed Legacy for a while, and like Delver obviously was not that old a card.
Yeah,
that costed.
Solo would get played in Legacy Star Wars CCG.
Correct. right. He would get.
When's the last time you saw another Han on the table?
Solo was Snapcaster, man.
I wouldn't go that far.
Solo's insane, and I've never seen another Han.
I know Solo's insane, but at the same time, Snapcaster is.
Solo does Snapcaster.
He is Snapcaster. Only he can play any card.
Right. No, it's the same thing. Interrupt.
Okay. You know what? Actually, yeah. You make a good point. I had to think about it a little bit more just because, like,
where's Matt Sperling? He's Matt Sperling.
Matt Sperling's not on. Yeah, I you know what? I sorry, the blue player.
He's better than Snapcaster. He draws on his own. He adds Destiny with Chewie.
Yeah, he's like a body.
Yeah, but
he's like a Snapcaster was like a.
Because the only way to make Solo better is probably just you can deploy him during your opponent's deploy phase.
Oh my god, he has Flash. God, imagine if Star Wars had Flash. That would be insane. Actually.
That would be insane. You know what? I say we bring that.
I guess reacting is sort of like that, but it's not even close to as good as Flash.
What's the card that plays pilots from your reserve deck? Is that Rebels only?
Yeah, that's it's like ability to Rebels. Like you're talking about the one that's
Antilles maneuver, yeah.
Well, I mean, there's the light side, there's the dark side version. I can't shake him. Does the same thing.
No, I was just wondering if it was Rebel because I didn't.
I guess it would be sort of reacts, but there's like no one who really reacts that's good, like Finn.
I was just saying Finn's probably the best one. I mean, there's a few.
Yeah.
There's like the Saber 4 if you're playing like a crappy
Greedo.
Yeah,
Greedo. Yeah, Greedo's a good. Mike knows his stuff.
Got blown up by Greedo enough times. I think we all know that one.
But that's how you learn though, and that's like.
Oh yeah, that's one of the best parts of CCG. Never doing that again.
Yeah.
If you get blown out with your own creation, you're like, oh yeah. You get blown out with like a Word document that I sent you about like here's how to win with Legend, and then you're like, crap, I forgot paragraph 3, and it's like not nearly as fun. So I think we're all on the same page.
Only takes trying to narrow escape with Malos once, and never do it again.
I was gonna say, speaking of blowouts, Mike, have you ever gotten blown out by Ezra or the Jemper?
The Jemper, sure. I mean, Jemper, one of the best player design cards of all time. People forget before the Redux, which was before the reset. The Redux, the Jemper had like 10 lines of text.
Yeah.
He could Force Lightning used as well, not just Force Lightning lost. He was completely insane.
Yeah.
Just make a character defense value -4. No one's played Ezra against me yet. Worf's had him in his no idea this morning, but placed him out of play, which I guess was as dirty with that deck as playing him. But no one's played Ezra against me yet. I haven't sleeved up Ezra either. I need to make a deck where I can use him a little bit because I think he's pretty sweet.
Spoiler: set 13, Ezra will be better. Be a better meta card.
Here's my next question. Speaking of Ezra, is that the younger version of Ezra for the one that you made, or is it the older one?
If memory serves, it's the older one, like right when he gets because it's like the Ezra that used to like break in, like used to be a spy. He used to like go, like he went in, he like infiltrated the Imperial Academy, right?
Okay, yeah.
I wanted to call him Jabba, right? And they said no.
I wanted him to be Ezra Jabba Bridger, and I wanted because that's in season 1. He tells everyone his name is Jabba.
Yeah, I remember that.
And I wanted every card that targeted Jabba to also be able to target Ezra, and I thought it was like the most fun and interesting thing ever. And they were like, "No, that's too many things to figure out. We're not doing that.
Too much fun.
Too much fun." So I just wanted to have like a spy. And what's funny is like I was working on this, and the Ezra they created for Star Wars Destiny was very similar, where he stole your opponent's money, which is exactly what I was trying to accomplish when I made him, which is like he goes and he disrupts.
Like, are there any designs in Destiny that we could? Are there any designs in Destiny for cards that maybe even had been made or haven't been made that we could steal that you could say, hey, that was really cool in Destiny, and they kind of matched the persona of the character from the show or movie, and we can, like, for instance, like the Jemper, it makes like what he does, or Force Lightning is he's zapping someone. Like, that's a very like thematic thing. Vader's
one thing that's. I mean, they did a really great job in Destiny of making the characters like have crazy personality. Like there was you'll get like 30 points to build a team with, and you could play a 28-point Emperor. So he was just your only character. And there was another Emperor that you could put as many abilities as you wanted on him. It was called Unlimited Power. And every time he got a new ability, he had more health. So he just like would never die because you'd put him in the back to tank and save him, and he could just keep getting bigger and bigger. But one that was cool was Dryden Voss. He had a die side where you shuffled your deck and you flipped over a card and you got to play it for free. So you'd shove all these like ATSTs in your deck and like these crazy high, like maybe not ATST, I forget like if that was actually in the deck, but all these like high cost cards that you could just play for free. It would be like, yeah, exactly. It was like built-in Panic, right? On a stick.
Okay.
Interesting. So that's one.
We could do that. Dryden Voss in set 13.
We're dropping news like crazy about set 13. I can't wait. This is great. This is the greatest show we've ever had.
I'm waiting for Chris Kelly just to come on and just cancel us. Because I have a feeling
we're not actually on the air anymore.
No.
Chris Kelly went back in time and deleted the broadcast.
Yeah.
Which is done.
Yeah,
so let's talk a little bit about Robbie's event. Because Mike,
the
next question on my list is what's the future hold? But the future could just be very soon, the near future. Obviously, we don't know what the distant future looks like with coronavirus and COVID and all the like real life tournaments, but we do know that Robbie is hosting a online event in August. Pretty exciting.
It's an online Texas Mini Worlds.
It's an online Texas Mini
Worlds.
And he wants he made the proclamation. He wants 128 people there, which is
it's a lot.
Massive. It would be the biggest event in PC history.
I think that would that be the biggest event in Star Wars history? It'd be close. No,
there was 200.
Decon 99 was like
300.
Yeah,
when
hundreds
they did,
of people.
Opens, the big opens like Gen Con Origins in like 99, 98, they were 300-ish.
Well,
but yeah, definitely the PC area. I like Robbie a lot. He's just the nicest guy. Like when he started playing Destiny, he started running tournaments for Destiny. He would send me the deck list, and he'd always reach out. He's just like the kindest dude.
And he dropped out for people were trying to throw us under the bus, and he was ready to go to war. So we rock with
But the
Robbie.
thing is, and I do appreciate that, but I also feel like it's not like he just did it to defend us blindly. I think
No,
he
thought we
took
were- yeah,
he just
thought we
is a rational guy, and I've seen him go to the mat several times, and I've also seen him just walk away from the game because of the way people are acting on the PC site. And I can't blame him because I think he's a rational guy, and I think like a lot of us, he can look around at the world and say, I feel like I'm taking crazy pills, and when it gets to be too much and it's actually like hurting more than it's helping for this game to be in your life or anything to be in your life, that he walked away from it. And I think he's just a really solid dude with a good head on his shoulders, and he doesn't betray that. He just is an honest guy, and I really appreciate that in a human being.
Yeah, I'm gonna sign up. And I didn't really enjoy the NPC online at all. I thought it was not fun. But I'm certainly signing up for Robbie's event.
Same.
For the same
Well,
reasons.
I will say there's 6 people already signed up, so if you're watching and you haven't signed up, we got to get to 128 people.
Mike, do you have a team?
I don't know. These guys posted on the boards about creating a team. I think I might jump on.
You're gonna join in.
I always wanted to work with Matt Sperling, so I think I will. Yeah, what's the thing? Wait, Dan, was it you that posted the thread on the PC site about you guys doing something special for teams?
Yes.
Well, what is it, man? Are we getting like a secret tag in Gemme?
I can't say anything.
Oh
Believe me,
we're dropping set 13 spoilers.
Okay,
and
you
can't
want
give us
something?
the-
So first of all, every team that has submitted something, I'm going to be working on creating special team signatures for the forums. That's one of the next things I'm doing. And
sweet.
as a prize for the next big in-person event, expect something to just decorate your deck boxes.
Oh, that's cool.
So,
and whatever happened with the stuff you showed me with like the
we are not talking about that.
We're not going there. Okay.
That is in production as we speak.
Oh,
okay.
Nice. I mean, I love teams. I don't know about you, but I've been on a couple teams.
I think this is a special.
CCG.
Do you want to announce it?
Okay.
Do you want me to announce what the big special thing is?
Do it.
Are you talking to us? It looks like
I'm talking to you, Justin.
Talking to like someone random on the side. Do you want me to do that?
What are you waiting for?
I don't know. Go ahead.
You know what? You know what? I mean, we need more interesting news for Star Wars, correct?
Yeah, why not?
Okay.
Let's have everything.
So something that is in production from the marketing team, as well as mostly myself, but each person who has won a major since I want to say, you know what?
2002.
No, unfortunately not.
Rip.
Yeah, pretty much. So if you're a member of the Hall of Fame, have won Worlds, if you're an advocate, if you are a volunteer, if you're one of the volunteers of the year, and if you won a major since
2002.
Let me just double check. Oh, and if you're a player of the year.
Gemme Mike is 2002 victory. It was one of the first PC majors.
I want to say it was since
Sweet pictures.
2000. I think I only got 2 since 2016. But don't worry. I think Mike.
People are dying to know, man.
Oh, so if you've won a major, you're going to get a specialized Star Wars card created with your image on it. So you know what? I'm actually going to show off one of them. Justin, I'm going to show off one of yours.
All right. One of mine. Nice. Baller.
Yeah, one of yours.
We can't make a fire extinguisher with me holding a fire extinguisher?
You know what? You want a fire extinguisher with you holding a fire extinguisher? Give me a picture of the fire extinguisher and you holding a fire extinguisher, and I'll make it for you.
Let's make you a virtual... Oh, man, you should do a virtual fire extinguisher.
You should.
That'd be cool. Chris Kelly.
I wanted to announce this at Worlds, but with everything that's going on, unfortunately...
Who's from Basel? Is that Taco Bill?
That's Taco Bill.
Oh. Well, why is his name not Taco Bill? I mean... Excuse my French here, but like if you have the name of Taco Bell,
just Taco Bill is just one letter away from Taco Bell.
Yes.
So
That's in one of the TRs that I read.
This is from 2015, Justin winning Worlds. Let me pull it up.
Dan, this is a slow burn. I'm not gonna lie.
Seriously.
There.
I don't see anything.
It's on the slide. It's on the.
Oh, we can't see it, but he can see it. Okay.
We can't see it.
Yeah, you can't see because it's
let me
not on
pretend.
Discord, but it's on the Twitch.
That's amazing.
Oh
So-
my god. The story of how Taco Bell got his nickname was the funniest. You remember that story, Mike?
I just read it in my TR.
You're like, why do you call you Taco Bell? But it was like because he just ate a lot of tacos.
he just eats a lot of tacos.
That's it. Like no like actual like moment.
I thought it was something
like,
to do with.
tacos.
You know what?
I've enjoyed rereading the TRs from Deck Tech, and I've spent a lot of hours doing it so far, but it's too many hours. They're too long. How did we read those back in the day? I guess there wasn't the rest of the internet.
Yeah.
The internet.
The rest of the internet is not there yet.
Bill, you're how old now?
20? 21?
I think he's a little older than 21 because I'm pretty sure I've seen him drink. I've actually drank with Taco Bell. It's a fun experience.
Well,
Illegally.
Well, I would hope he'd be legally. He's in the Air Force.
No, I don't know if you've been to America, but they can make you serve before you can even drink.
I know.
All right, let's move on.
Yeah, let's move on.
Jesus.
So
what do we got? We got
the regular stuff. So let's go into swing and a miss.
Let's do it.
So the first question for swing and a miss. What's the over under on at least 2.5 members of KTOD making the OCS playoffs?
Man, I'm gonna have to go. Swing and a miss under here. I don't know if I can win the 11 or 12 games that need to be won in August. But if Chu comes back, I'm taking the it's a hit. Over.
That's a good point.
I'm gonna go with over. I think Mike's got it in him. I
He
think
believes
that.
in me.
What's the day? What's today? It's the 22nd.
It's the 22nd. I have 8 days to figure it out.
Well,
9 days to figure it out.
OCS. You got 10 OCS. The best place to practice for the OCS is the OCS, and Mike's off to a slow start. So I think I will tell you this: it's the over if he finishes July. You could go.
Yeah, I don't think I have to play all the 10 games that I have left. I think I could play 8 or 9. It depends on the timing of everything. I need to sit down. I need to not play Valorant for a night. I need to sit down, build some decks, and figure my life out. My Star Wars CCG life out.
I will say this:
80 cards of every good deck, and then go from there.
Yeah.
I
will say this, Mike. I mean, you're 0-2. You just got to go 10-0 the rest of the way this month, and you're in.
That's true. This month is also
for sure. Yeah, I mean, I was never really. I only signed up in July to force myself to get ready for August. So, yeah, sure, I could go on a run, but I need to find a couple decks that I like.
That's fair. I'll tell you what. Honestly, I have 5 more games myself, so you'll probably play against me. That's a guaranteed win.
All right, sweet. Let's do it. Tell me when you're posting up. Text me.
Will do. Okay.
It's the rule.
Okay. So I'm gonna go with the over though. Why not?
Yeah,
Look at these guys.
I got faith in you. I like your chances over people like Chris Kelly.
For sure.
Just saying. So
friend of the KTOD, but still not the KTOD.
No. You know what? I mean, I'm not going to go any further. So we were speaking of the Texas Mini Worlds. So what are you saying that someone who is going to win, the person who wins Texas Mini Worlds, is not going to be a person who's qualified for the OCS playoffs?
Hit me with the qualifiers. Who's qualified? Justin H. Rodusai. Steve Baroni.
Yes.
Bastion, Lorfic, Winklehouse. Eric Hunter?
Yep. Not Hayes. Hayes hasn't really done OCS.
Yeah, Hayes pretty much is. I think he said he's done for a while. Let's see. You know what? Do we have a
Silverglen?
Silverglen has.
Yeah.
I don't think Worfs has.
Worfs has not.
That's I think that's kind of the big names in the OCS, along with like some pretty decent players, but not like ones that you would maybe necessarily recognize.
All right, I'm gonna say someone who did not qualify. I'm gonna pick a sleeper. It's gonna be like Kingery.
Whoa, that would be
Shaw qualified.
Taco Bell has not.
Taco Bell has not.
He's only 20.
Gavin.
Give him time.
Fred qualified.
Yeah. Fred.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I think it's like really easy to say the best players qualify for the OCS playoff, and one of those guys will win. But I think it'll be a pretty wide field. I mean, if Robbie wants 128, I hope we get close to it. So I will take the field.
Yeah, I like the field too. I mean, there's really good players who haven't qualified. I mean, like I said, there's only 6 people.
Really good, though.
Yeah, I mean, there's only 6 people who have signed up. So.
Oh, that's just people know it, and it's a month from now. Like, or just they're not. They're intent. Like I haven't signed up. My intent's to play.
Okay.
I think someone who's qualified will win. I think Mike's going to qualify in August, and he's also going to win.
You know what? Actually, you know what? No.
Month for Mike Gemme.
I'm going to take it back. I'm going to take this back and actually say the winner will be somebody who qualified, because Steve Baroni he's qualified, and we all know that Steve Baroni just goes and plays and wins to
That's his tournament.
Texas is his tournament.
That's his tournament.
Yeah. So right there, Steve Baroni, champ for the Texas Mini World Online event. Enough said. Okay, so Texas Mini World is going to have at least 90 players sign up for it.
Yeah, over. I'm all in on this being a huge event. I think we can really, really push it. And I think Justin, we should make it a point to sign up by the end of the week and try and get, and not only that, but try and get people that we know that will bring other people in to sign up and pressure them.
You know what? I'm just going to say this.
You know what? Get Joe's whole team to sign up. Like you mentioned, Hayes is sort of not feeling it right now, but you should play. He's won 2 majors this year.
Yeah.
And there's someone talking about, so someone in the chat mentioned New Allies, which I guess is a team, getting some real disrespect here. Okay, go out and win it.
Real disrespect.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And the Europeans figuring out a way for them to get in with the time zone.
Where?
You know what? I'm going to say this. If people want an incentive to play, the more people that sign up, the better prizes we're going to have.
Right. Also,
so we're going to do tiers for the prizes based on the people that sign up.
Spoken like an angry principal.
No, I just know how
you
to
sell these candy bars. If you sell these candy bars, you're going to win another spree day.
No. What I'm saying is, I just know what Kickstarter is all about, making the tiers.
Oh, yeah.
Tiers for tiers.
True.
Okay. So what's the more negative play interaction? Vader and Custom Tie against Diplo, or Gold Leader and Gold 1 in Legend?
Do you want to explain these for the viewers, briefly, or?
We'll explain it for you, Mike.
No, I understand the interaction. Vader Custom Tie cancels.
For the viewers, R2 goes to the Dune C, the R2D2, but Darth Vader cancels the passenger's game text, so he doesn't. The Vader's Custom Tie does with Vader on it. So you can turn 1, fight, you lose your droids completely. I actually don't think it's that big a blowout, personally. And then for Legend, Gold Leader requires you to use 1 Force to draw a Destiny, and Legend has to redraw Destiny. So you have to essentially save 2 Force unless you have the game text of draws, if not able to otherwise.
I think that is way, way worse, because not only is that a card, but there's also a card, there's a light side card that makes you spend 1 of your Force if you have more than 1 saved.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
So
is there?
That's
the dark side one. But the point is there.
Well, yeah. I mean, I just think that's completely.
You have to save 2 cards to draw Destiny.
Yeah.
I agree with you on that one.
Okay, and then
because even with the Vader's tie thing, you don't even lose stolen data tapes. It's still there, right?
Yeah. Yeah, you just lose the R2 and the 3PO. They just don't go to the
Yeah.
Dune Sea. So,
I mean, yeah, someone will find it eventually.
yeah. Okay, last question for Swing and a Miss. R2D2 is the most important card in the meta right now.
So I was asking you guys about like specific counters that I might not have missed. I think it does a lot to not let itself get countered, which I think can be frustrating. But you guys pointed out like you can cancel his game text with Vader, which is a pretty prevalent card. And with that Vader being so ubiquitous in the meta across dark side decks, I don't think it's that important. I think it is a backbreaker in some matchups, but I do think it is counterable enough considering how much of that text makes it hard to counter.
Yeah.
I know you love it, Justin.
I like the card. I also think it's obviously good against. It's good. It probably feels a little unfair in the decks that like have to start a Scomp Link or have to contain like a key Scomp Link, like Hunt Down and ISB come to mind. But like it's kind of cool how some decks can just like not use Scomp Link like at all. Like you could play like Maul Sight. The bridge randomly does not have one.
Yeah, that's cool. That's so weird.
And like you could actually get creative and do some nifty stuff with it. It definitely feels rough against Hunt Down and ISB, but I think like Mike said, Hunt Down plays that Vader, so you can cancel him and like play Vader and Force Lightning with the Emperor or something like that, and then
Jemper can kill.
Pretty good card too.
I'm pretty sure the ISB decks play that Vader too. So
yeah, and Never Yarnall and just a bunch of different.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he comes back. I think the combination with Seeking is a little bit rough, but it's also a liability sometimes. Like you play him in, if you play him to the Imperial Square with agents, and they kill him, and you put like a decent force there, even if you have a way to get him back next turn with Seeking, like taking a turn off, having to like now go and like they get, say you put Luke with them at the thing, and then they get to be flipped for even just the remainder of their turn. That can be like pretty backbreaking in terms of like, they're set up to then go kill Luke or kill him again or something.
Okay, that's all we got for Swing and a Miss. Mike, so we do a card of the week. Mike Jeff has given us a card. So you want to talk about the card?
Yeah, so this is a card. So I was watching when I was like, I spent a week just like watching games on Gemme, like watching OCS games, and I was watching Sperling because I know Sperling from Magic and I've read his work for quite some time. And he had this sweet Hyperdrive deck, which is a deck that I've always loved. That's where like when Don't Forget the Droids kind of blew up. That came from when I started putting that in Hyperdrive. He had this card that he started called Jedi Business. And it's a deploy on table, always immune to all effects. You can start it with your favorite starting interrupt. Non-episode 1 Jedi are lost. Qui-Gon is deploy -1, and unless with Anakin or Vader, Mace is immune to attrition. Once per turn, may choose download an episode 1 lightsaber, or once per game, download Malastare, Mos Espa, or Nightclub. So I just thought it was a really interesting way to get sabers out, including like the good Qui-Gon saber. And then I saw that the Jedi lightsabers, well, they don't make forfeit 0, they do add 1 to drain. Making Mace immune to attrition is insane. Like complete immune to attrition has always been one of the most powerful things you can do in Star Wars Star Wars CCG. I've been saying that so many times over the last 4 years. And then like obviously making Qui-Gon deploy -1 is really good. And then, but really just being able to pull a system or like a battleground site is just so huge in some decks, like getting that extra activation. So I just thought that it's a really cool card that I decided to build my WAP around. Chu and I had discussed at one point, like playing an immune Jedi, like playing the Qui-Gon who's completely immune, and then being able to make Mace completely immune and have a Yoda that's completely immune, and also have downloadable sabers for all of them. Is just really, really strong. So I think this is a really cool card. I love that Sperling used it in his Hyperdrive. I messed around with it in WAP. I think it's certainly good. I think the meta isn't great for WAP at the moment. But I think it made my WAP much more interesting and tougher on the ground.
Yeah.
Question from the chat. They're referencing the real quick, are we done with the card of the week?
Yeah, I think we're done with the card of the week.
Yeah, I think it's cool.
Just try to manage the chat. So early talked about team building. What are some better methods to collaborate between team members? It's a good question.
Like literal, like should you use Discord or whatever? Like,
sure. I'm not sure if it's like it means like the means of operation or like just like the actual like human.
Yeah, I think it's really important to have people on your team that you trust. Like you're not gonna do any good having people you don't trust or aren't confident in what they'll say, because then you're just getting yes men, or you're gonna ignore what they say when they disagree with you anyway. So you need to have people that you respect and aren't willing to just go along with whatever you say and sort of like play devil's advocate at times. Right. It's really good to have people that build their own decks and do their own thing, because they can give you a different look. Like they can throw something at you. Like Chu's really good at that and be like, all right, let me throw this thing at you. It's something I've been working on. We're not going to play it at Worlds, but like you might see something akin to this. Like someone could play this against you. You need to know what to do. So someone who has a real initiative to, take matters into their own hands and try and build some stuff and really want to help you. And not just you, but the rest of the team, and just people that want to be team players, that root for each other, and not like, oh, I hope that person doesn't make top 8 because I want to make top 8, or I didn't make top 8. You want your whole team in the top 8.
Yeah, you want it to be evenly keeled. Like when Chu won in 03, we teamed with him, and I don't think we were like less excited that he won and we didn't win. Obviously, you're disappointed we get knocked out, but like
we were hyped that we all made top 8.
And it was funny, like in 2013 when I won the first time, I had advanced to the finals, and Steve scooped me into the finals because he was just like, I want you to win, which was obviously great. Kind of what Mike's talking about. But Chu was playing Reed, and Chu had a very good matchup against me. Like, I actually had built both decks, but he played the decks that were really, really good against me. Like, he had an auto win with his dark side against my light side. And I was still rooting for Chu heavy. And I knew that I was like majorly favored against Reed. But I wasn't rooting for Reed so I could win. I wanted an all us finals. And then I was like, well, I hope I can pull it out against Chu, and let me, figure out some crazy way to I'm up against it, but let me see if I can pull it out. And, there was a unfortunate thing for Chu that happened with a Monarch that got him. But I think what I'm saying is you really do want it to be team oriented. I think you also want to be on the same page, like with your games, but not necessarily like your strengths can be different. Like Mike is saying, like Chu looks at things differently. Mike looks at things really differently. Steve and I think, look at things somewhat similar at times. But it's good that we're in different spots. But you want to have your mindset the same. You don't want to have someone who's like, oh, I haven't checked anything out in 2 weeks. What's good? You know what I mean? You want your drive to be the same drive. If you want to just chill and go to a tournament and have some fun, cool. The rest of your guys should be maybe on that page. If you want to, you're trying to maximize and win, you want the rest of your team to be on that same mindset.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes people are going to have a week where they're like, all right, I couldn't play this week. I have kids. What did I miss? Like, what's new? Yeah. But you want someone who's before. Yeah, if it's the week before Worlds, they're probably putting time in. That's the person.
Right. And you just want to have the same mindset. And I think it's important you don't have one person who's ahead too. If you can have some person who maybe is having some success, but having someone who just tells everyone what to do, I don't think that's I don't think it's fun, and I don't think it's the best team.
Yeah.
Someone who's like, oh, your deck is bad because of this, and your deck is good because of this, or we should all do this. I don't think that works.
I'm not a big fan of this is correct and incorrect. Everything, especially in a game like Star Wars CCG, where everything is so fluid. There's not often a right or wrong answer, and it's are you willing to figure out what the right answer is or not? And people that want to work together, people that root for each other. The scenario that Justin brought up, I could never imagine being on a team with someone that I rooted against. Having both of us in the finals would be a team win, and I'm never one for needing to win something.
The last NPC you went to, Mike, I felt slighted because they put me as a 2 seed, and I won my bracket, and then the overall number 1 seed was Tom Kelly, which also didn't make me happy. And I had played that round 1 of the top 4, and then the finals was Chu, and I was like, oh, Chu, like I'd beaten him in the top 8 of Worlds the year before, kind of a crappy sort of finish, and I was like, man, you deserve, like, you haven't won an NBC before, you deserve it, you think. And because I had done I had done the non-team stuff, so like sitting down for 3 hours and playing against Chu and like trying to compete, it was like, whatever, that's not what I'm here for.
Yeah.
Like the team had already won the NPC. Like we put we put like 2 people in the finals. So
yeah, I mean, even in Destiny, when I played it, I made it to the finals against Nick one time, and I played it against the finals of my other teammate Joe, and we refused to play. And if me and Joe had made the finals of Worlds, we wouldn't have played.
Thank you. Are you also interested in how breaking down matchups? Do you do game reviews together? We just talk.
Yeah,
we just like that.
But that's what the thing of trusting is like I can ask these guys, well, have you played this matchup? What wins? And like, well, this wins unless this happens, so you got to make sure you do this. And like that's when the fine line between what Justin's saying of like you don't want someone that can tell you what to do, but also like you can't test every matchup. So if they've played the matchup and they think they know, you know, you can also head sim it out and be like, well, what about this? And I'm like, oh yeah, that didn't happen.
Counterintuitive, but really you don't want to do this, or you don't want to battle, or
we just talk through it. And we've always just talked through it. Like, you know, you might have a game, you might have a revelation that's like, all right, I think I broke this match wide open, and it involves like the thing we talked about earlier with the Senate. Like, you got to save force and draw this many cards.
Awesome.
Right. That was the last of the questions. We're winding down. It's been a pretty long show. I actually thought it was going to be a little shorter tonight because we didn't have too much written down to prepare for. We've been
not with me on. I could do this all day.
No.
I'm not surprised. So I think the only 2 things we got left are the deck building challenge, and then we got the spelling challenge. So let's go into the deck building.
Spelling challenge is going to be a good one.
I don't know what this is, but I'm scared.
Scrabble.
Oh God, I definitely should have picked something a lot better then.
Oh, if you have to switch it up. Like
no, I want to know what this is. This is like my wheelhouse.
Oh, it's an easy one, but I'm gonna pick something better. Yeah, you just spell the card.
You can't look at it.
No,
obviously.
You can't look at it, but you're gonna spell a card for us, and you're gonna.
Mine was Baskel, Mike, and I didn't get it.
Yeah.
You didn't get Baskel Argenti? No, it's Baskel. Yes, Baskel Yeserling, right?
Yes.
Actually, you know.
Pascal Argenti.
Yeah,
you're right.
I'm gonna try and spell Baskel Yeserling while you do whatever you're doing. What were you doing, Dan?
So we'll go with the deck building challenge, but I'm gonna switch the card. So the deck building challenge for this week is something kind of like with Mike's card. So it's a little bit of it's a Jedi card. We're gonna go with you got to play 5 Jedi Council members and win. They don't have to be at the JCC. They just have to be on the table.
And you get style points for the cool ones.
Yeah. So, and if you're curious as to which ones those are, well, here's the list. Depa, General Kenobi, Kieta Mundi, Kit Fisto, Mace, both versions of Mace, Pol Koon, Yoda, and the 2 versions of Yoda, the episode 1's versions of
the tiebreaker is the number of non-virtuals.
Well, it's usually the first person to submit, but
no, it can't. Not this one.
Week. Okay,
we're changing it. The tiebreaker is so if someone posts, right? You post your first scores. You post it. You say, okay, I did it, but I did it with 3 virtuals. So I did it with General Kenobi. I did it with Mace. I did it with another good virtual one. Depa, I'm guessing, or Kit Fisto, but someone could say I did it with 5, all non-AI, non-virtual.
Non-virtual. Good grief.
Post. Good grief. Oh bother.
Okay.
That's a good one. This is a good one. This is better than the Boom Race one.
Yeah, it's sweet.
Yeah,
the Boom Race one having to be in an OCS game is what killed it.
Yeah, I
Pre-virtual,
don't.
pre-virtual cards.
I mean, this one has to be in an OCS or an open format. You can't just go, oh, I'm gonna go play in a Jawa format. No, you still got to
Has to
play
be
in
open.
something.
Open's the way to do it.
I would just say any of the
Quarantine
leagues.
open. Yeah, the
Oh,
leagues,
yeah.
the good leagues.
Any
The leagues
yeah,
that people
the open league. So
Openly. Okay.
the quarantine or like the OCS if you want to get crazy.
Did anyone win with Boom Race?
yeah,
Oh, okay. Someone
we had
did?
we had to open it up to them though. We had to
No
open
one
it up
did.
to the open league, so nobody won in the OCS.
Lame.
Rip.
But okay, are you ready for your spelling challenge, Mike?
Yes, let me
We're gonna go old
minimize
school.
Gemme. Okay. It's yes or rim, not yes or ling. I'm so mad. Okay, go ahead.
Okay.
Right, I think I did.
So I'm so
Your
out of
spelling
touch.
card is Miyomi Oneth.
Oh man,
Oh, okay. It's
that's a good one for Mike. Someone's been
I
really
went
good.
as hard as I could think of in like the 20 seconds that I had.
say it again.
Miyom Oneth.
Okay, because you said Miyomi.
Yeah, I know.
That threw me off.
Miyom Oneth.
Yeah, the mail cards.
I know what it
the
is.
male
Country of
alien,
origin. Country of origin.
United States.
Part of speech.
Noun.
Okay. Is there an apostrophe?
No. Yes. There is no
Yes.
apostrophe.
Is
And
it
you have,
M?
you have, and apparently, you know what?
I know.
You got to get the apostrophe.
Yes, I know. Is it? All right, give me 2 tries if this is wrong. Is it M-I? Is the second letter I?
I'm
The
not.
second letter's I.
Yeah, second
Okay,
letter's I.
M-I-Y, M-I-Y, O-O-M, O apostrophe N-I-T-H.
Nope.
That's not it?
That's not it.
Mm-mm.
I'll give you one more.
Did I get the first name right?
No.
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know.
Hmm.
I closed my screen.
Then I'm not sure. Is it M-I-Y-O apostrophe O?
No, the double I got you, buddy.
Yeah. It's
O M-I-I?
M
It's
apostrophe
M
I. Y.
You had the
O O M.
letters right,
Yeah.
other than the second I. You had the letters.
You had the last name right.
Yeah, but no apostrophe.
Damn. 2 I's in an apostrophe.
Yeah.
Of course she has 2 I's.
And again, if you win the deck building challenge,
They
you'll
all
get one
have
of
double
these.
L.
I will be making some more prizes to hand out.
Sweet.
Yeah, that's Jerry as the Vader, so. But yeah, I'll be making some more prizes, so look out for those. You know what? That's all we got for this week.
That's all we got.
So
Next week we got who we got next week, Dan?
Next week we got Troy, creator of Gemme.
Troy next week. We have Matt Sperling the week after, and we're trying to figure out a way to get Jared in
Yeah.
to talk about the worlds, like the history of worlds, pro points, essentially, which I think will be a fun show. I'm looking forward to that one. Looking forward to all of them.
Yeah, Jared's a little busy, so hopefully he'll be able to take some time. Again, I want to thank Mike for being our special guest this week. Welcome back to the
Thanks,
game, Mike. Hopefully we'll see you more on Gemp. And again, thank you, Justin, for filling in Gary's shoes. And we'll see you guys. We'll see you guys next week.
Jerry.